What's up, guys? The Lazy Goldmaker here. Cataclysm, the pre-patch date, and the launch date has just been announced. So let's talk about what you can do to prepare yourself, to set yourself up to make as much gold as possible in the next phase of WoW Classic. So the first one, if you've been doing gold making in Wrath and you have stuff left over, now is the time to consider slowing down your restocking and trying to get rid of most of your finished crafted items in particular. There are going to be some items that keep their value. So you don't necessarily need to absolutely just panic sell everything. But a lot of items will lose a lot of value as soon as the next patch rolls around. And that means you want to slowly just sell them off, keep posting, don't restock as much, and that's going to hopefully bleed you dry and have you ready with as much raw gold as possible when Cataclysm rolls around. The most important items to sell is stuff like gems, enchants, and items that are only relevant at level 80. Gear is also relatively important in my opinion, but we do have the fact of something that we're going to talk about later. The addition of transmog means that some gear at least will keep value better. But I don't think that holds true for most of the level 80 crafted stuff for Wrath. So generally speaking, sell off and get rid of it. Next up, you want to prepare your profession alts. So for Wrath, I had profession alts at level 68. That was the minimum level to easily get into the Wrath zones and learn max level professions. I'm going to have to level this one to 80. This is my inscription enchanter. You want to level at least 4 characters to level 80 so that you have 4 characters that will cover every profession in the game, or at least the crafting ones. I mean, if you want to do farming, then you probably want another a druid just for gathering. But that's what you want to do. You want to get them to 80. And you will have to level some of them once Cataclysm rolls around to level 84 to get access to the recipes, because there are a bunch of recipes, such like the entry-level crafted gear, which is a great market. You need to get to 84 and the Twilight Highlands. But the most important one is get 4 characters to level 80. That's what I would do. This is my second account here. I just have 1 character that I've actually leveled. So I've already started leveling this towards 80 slowly. But you do have the XP buff, so that's pretty nice. As for what characters should have what professions, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. There are some small efficiencies, but to some combinations, like having enchanting tailoring on the same character can be nice if you're doing enchanting shuffles. But it's not that much time lost from mailing your stuff over. So I would just pick whatever 2 you want to have on your main, or maybe pick some on your main that has hard to get gold making recipes from reputations and other stuff like that, so you can just get done quicker. And then you just spread out the rest as you want. Like as I said, there's no real huge benefit. There can be some small benefits from expansion to expansion, but like which reps give you recipes. But I've already set up all of my professions by Wrath, and I'm not going to re-level them and like relearn all the glyph recipes. That would just be prohibitively expensive. Now, there are some markets that you want to keep going in that are going to be relevant all the way up until pre-patch and even beyond. And we're looking at it right now, Glyphs. Now, the glyph system is changing in Cataclysm. So instead of being consumable, and every time if you swap out the glyph, you need to buy another glyph and learn it again. That's not how it's going to work in Cataclysm. In Cataclysm, once you've learned a glyph, it's learned. You have it in the list here, and then you just pick one and apply it to your slots. What that means is that for the day of the pre-patch, when this new system rolls around, people will need to fill out their glyph books. I expect we'll see a lot of glyphs moving on during the pre-patch. So I would definitely stock up on some glyphs now, be ready for pre-patch. I don't think that this is going to have a massive effect on herb prices, but this is definitely something to be ready for. I think this is a nice gold-making opportunity, and even long-term, the glyphs should retain their value. Even though they're not swapped out as often, people still reroll, make alts. They're going to want to test new classes once they see the meta settle in and stuff like that. So glyphs are very useful item to keep invested in long term. Then we have the new profession. We're gonna have one more. Well, I guess we don't have the profession window here, but we are gonna have another secondary profession, Archaeology, and we can start farming that in the pre-patch. Now, should you farm it? I mean, for your main, you might want to do it because then you're ready to farm the epic items that you can get from Archaeology in Cataclysm. But there is also one gold making niche, the Vial of the Sands, the most expensive recipe in WoW at the time of it being added. Probably going to be one of the most expensive items in Cataclysm. The recipe is obtained from Archaeology. So if you have an alchemist and you want to go for this recipe, you should 100% spend the pre-patch maxing out Archaeology on your alchemist. Now, that being said, even once you've done that, the farm to get the Vial of the Sands recipe is extremely long. So just be prepared that it's going to be many hours of farming. But if you're the first one to get it on your realm, then it's probably going to be worth it. I'm not sure if I probably won't go for it just because the time commitment is so high. But yeah. Then, investment opportunities. Well, we have one that we want to talk about. Cataclysm brings transmog to the game. And that's interesting. That means that a lot of old items are going to have increased value. Anything that looks cool, looks unique, is now going to be valuable. Now, there are just too many items for me to list all of the potential items you can invest in. There's so many items with a cool, unique look that are interesting to buy up. There's also a bunch of items that are significantly harder to farm in the new Cataclysm world. Post-Cataclysm world, this is true for a lot of classic items. But yeah, you have some such as like the plate bikini sets, like the glorious breastplate and leggings, which gives you like a very skimpy armor look. There are other sets that look like this. These kept their value extremely well long term in retail. There's also a bunch of cool recipes you can get, some of which like you have the Phantom Blade. This is a blacksmithing weapon. The recipe is from weaponsmithing. It'll be a drop from Stratholm. This was also a great seller for transmog reasons back in the day. Then you have stuff like the Fellsteel weapons from TBC. Fellsteel Longblade. I bought this recipe. I made a lot of gold just flipping this recipe in like Legion times. This is definitely another one that's interesting for transmog reasons. As well as a ton of BOEs. As I said, there's too many items for me to list all of them. But if you're one of the people looking to transfer your character from, if you're on one of the lower population realms that are going to be depreciated, then you also have the opportunity to look for some items to pick up and bring with you. So if you haven't heard about this website, JPWargan, this one is quite interesting. You can even compare servers, and you can look up at items. So I can look up, say, Glorious Breastplate, which is one of the items I know has a lot of value. And I should be Europe Classic. Then we're going to pick my realm, my old realm. And here you get a list of all of the realms. So you can see that mostly this one is cheapest actually on the high pop realms. So here it would not make sense to buy this on any of these other realms to bring over. But you might be able to pick up deals on various items on your old realm, and that can give you a nice amount of gold long term by just picking that up and sticking it in your bags and waiting for the transmog to roll around. Transmog made many fortunes back in the day, and it's going to be definitely a very interesting new market. So I might share some groups if I can find some good ones from back in the day, but I'm not a transmog enthusiast personally, so I don't know all the good items, but I know some of them, so yeah. That's it, guys. That's what I would do to prepare. Most importantly, in my opinion, get your professional sorted. That's the most important. Second most important, get rid of anything that's going to lose value, and then we can look at investing and stocking up if you have time and gold for that. Good luck.